girl at the window. That's what we used to call her. Lovely Jennifer at the window. Nobody really knew her last name, but that wasn't the important part. All we cared about at the time was whether or not we would get a glimpse of what was back then, the only thing of importance on any of our minds. Would she get undressed, and if so, how much would she make available before she closed the curtains, hiding her body once again from our 15-year-old eyes? It was funny, in a way. No matter how many times we hid in those bushes and looked up at the window, we always thought that that time would be the time. She would take her clothes off, we would see what we wanted to see, and the four of us would go home happy. Hormones on high alert, our first taste of adulthood in our minds, and the secret of what we had just seen sealed on our lips. Those good old teenage years. Not a care in the world, no threats on the horizon. Freedom was what you would call it. Pure, definite freedom. We could have run naked through the streets if we wanted to, and it would seem that not a soul in the world would care. Of course, that wasn't the case at all, but we believed it to be so. Lovely, lovely Jennifer at the window. Show us your beauty. Put on a good show. Lovely, lovely Jennifer at the window. Thanks for coming to our town from Glasgow. Not the greatest poetic genius of the 21st century we knew, but hey, it was ours and that was good enough for us. Being a bunch of wannabe writers, we usually always worked with our knowledge of the human language to come up with some tale or poem or play describing our experiences firsthand, trying to make them out to be more than they were, getting them down on paper as if they were the events that defined us, made us into what we were. We were the next T.S. Eliots, the next William Blakes, the next Agatha Christie's, Stephen King's, Alfred Hitchcock's, H.G. Wells's. At one point, I even thought I would surpass the great William Shakespeare, write something better than Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth, or to my deepest hopes, Othello. But who was I kidding? Horror stories and half-completed novels were never going to get me past the line in terms of genius, but I suppose now they never will anyway. Lovely, lovely Jennifer at the window. Those were the days. Those were the days. God, I would give anything to go back. Absolutely anything. But I can't. Those days have slipped through my fingers, and my friends along with them. 2012. Hell of a year, if you ask me. London hosted the Olympic Games, the Mars lander Curiosity lands on the Red Planet, Voyager 1 exits our solar system, Windows 8 is released by Microsoft, and of course, the end of the world happens. But I wouldn't put that last one on a list of the top 10 most influential things to happen in the history of planet Earth, although it did help Mother Nature to get back to where it was before the 7 billion humans decided to come and change the course of its destiny, so I suppose that's good. Us humans don't really see it the same way. Understandably so, I think. But hey, I'm no god, so what the hell would I know, right? No, my area of expertise was one of the first things to give itself into destruction when all this fell. Books were used for kindling, master works were destroyed. The timeless tales of Lovecraft and Dickens were taken off those library shelves and cast into the flames of the new world. I can't blame the ones who made it happen, I suppose. After all, one needs heat to survive, and the printed page placed in a pile at room temperature is not going to cause that chemical reaction to happen. But what is done is done. Lovely, lovely Jennifer at the window. Fear and a handful of dust. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. They're all lost in apocalypse philosophy. How many men does it take to change a light bulb? None. For the light bulb and the men are both dead. Each in equal measure. The world ends with a bang, not a whimper. Or a nuclear explosion, however you would like to put it. Whether it was a coincidence or not that the Mayan calendar ended at the exact date that those bombs were dropped is out of my hands. I just know it happened, and I was there, and I saw the explosion. One at a time. Boom London, boom New York, boom Tokyo, boom every city that the human race called home. Not boom me. I hid, and I survived, and I came across other survivors, and then we hid in a bunker. What we came to know as the Hymn to the Planet. My personal name for it would have been Hymn to Death, but we need hope, and a name like that does not promote positive. We are 20 in this bunker, 20 humans making it as best as we can. Rations are low, we live each day as it comes. We have those days and nights where we have fun, we laugh, we smile, we ignore what lies above us. Those wastelands. Those are the nights we live for now. The nights where we have all the food in the world we need and the group is whole again. Nobody has gone on a supply run. We aren't saying goodbye to another member of the party that might have died that day. We aren't having to look after one another as we hope and pray that we make it through to the other side of the sickness we are facing. We stay alive for those nights, and those nights alone. That is our apocalypse philosophy. Live life to the fullest and live it while you can, because when the end comes, it will be quicker than you ever imagined. Lovely, lovely Jennifer at the window. Lovely Jennifer. Jack Wallace put his pen and paper down, then glanced over at the others. As he did this, he smiled.
What the hell are you smiling at?
And suddenly he was back. The explosions sounding out around him, the bullets flying past his head, the pen and paper gone, and his clothes replaced with his standard military uniform.
Get your head in the damn game, soldier. We need to take this place. Our backup is coming and we can't afford them to arrive without our mission being fulfilled.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. As he said this, he turned, facing the battleground once again. He wished he were lying underground in a bunker with 19 other people. It would at least be better than the situation he was facing at that moment, but his imagination wasn't real life. Real life was real life. And he was part of the war. A soldier facing death each and every day with a rifle in his hands, and the gripping fear in his heart. There were bombs, though. It was true that all the major cities were wiped out, and it was true that he had been a writer. But now, he was a soldier, fighting against the enemy in the hopes of saving the human race from total annihilation. Or at least, what was left of him. He wished the bombs had been dropped by mankind, that he and the other soldiers were facing familiar enemies on the front line. But it was just not so. Those bombs were alien, the work of an extraterrestrial life form, originating from a distant planet out there among the stars. He wished he was back in the past, staring at that girl in the window. Lovely Jennifer at the window. That was where she died, lovely Jennifer. She was shown a handful of dust. She knew that life was a poor player strutting and fretting its hour upon the stage. She knew that the world ended with a bang, not a whimper. The girl at the window. That's what we used to call her. Lovely Jennifer at the window. Nobody really knew her last name, but that wasn't the important part. After all my time, all the things I have seen, I can only say one thing: live life by the apocalypse philosophy. Remember the good times, for the end will show you fear in a handful of dust. Trust me, I have seen it, and it is the scariest thing this world has to offer. I beg you to come back, lovely Jennifer at the window. Lovely Jennifer. I'll never leave again. Never leave.